Promo Insiders, the ASI Media podcast that covers the issues that matter most to the promotional products industry. I'm Teresa Hegel, Executive Editor of Special Projects and Sustainability, and today I'm joined by Jeffrey Schrimmer, President of Brighter Promotions, who recently started another business called Professional SRS to help companies file claims in the massive payment card interchange fee settlements. So today he's going to walk us through what that suit is all about, why it's important, and why we should be caring about this. So thanks so much for joining us.
No, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
So can you tell us a little bit about how did you first learn about the suit? I know it's not a new thing, but you had just heard about it recently.
So it's the strangest thing. First off, I am a lawyer by trade, but I don't practice, right? It's not something that's in my wheelhouse. Promo is in my wheelhouse. And we were buying another company a couple months back, and they basically came out and said, hey, we're going to sell all of our assets, except our claim on this class action lawsuit. And I kind of scratched my head. I said, what are you talking about? What class action lawsuit? And the seller, who I've known for years and years, like, well, geez, Jeff, there's this huge class action settlement against Visa and MasterCard. It's really massive. You should read about it. So I started reading about it, learning, and basically realized that this was something real. We all get those class action postcards in the mail, and it's usually $3 here, $5 there, and we throw them out. But this was like a legitimate large number. It's actually the largest settlement from a class action ever at $5.54 billion being set aside.
Yeah. So let's go over some of the details. This is a case, it was against Visa and MasterCard, is that correct?
Yeah, so the case basically alleged that Visa and MasterCard participated in antitrust behavior and colluding what the prices were going to be for the interchange fees. And interchange fees are what we all as merchants pay to process the credit cards. You can think of it as like that 2.5% VIG that we're charging. And basically, Visa and MasterCard got together and said, hey, we're going to charge X amount, and we're not going to really allow the public, the customers, to decide or really compete with what that pricing is. So instead of going all the way to trial, Visa and MasterCard agreed to a settlement and just set aside this very large pool of money.
Yeah, and this was, I think, originally filed back in 2005, but it covers, what time period does it actually cover, the settlement?
Yeah, so this has been a long-going litigation. There's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of appeals, but now it's finalized, and the period is basically from January 1st, 2004 to January 25th, 2019.
So as long as you have, as a merchant, we're accepting those credit card payments in that time, then you're entitled to part of the settlement?
Yep, that's exactly right. So during that time period, 2004 to 2019, almost 15 plus years, plus by a couple of days, if you were accepting Visa or MasterCard payments of any kind, you are technically part of this class. But unlike some class elements where they just send you a check and you don't have to do any paperwork, this class makes you actually file a claim and actually kind of prove out who you are, what your EIN number is, and kind of go through some back and forth about how much you actually think you're owed.
So how do the merchants then make a claim in the suit? I know that there's a website they go to, right? Paymentcardsettlement.com.
There is a website they can go to. They have to log in, register, do some paperwork on that end. And then there's people doing similar to what I'm doing, which is trying to help not only file and manage people's claims, but really to get the word out. Most people that we've signed up didn't even know about this before, I gave them a call. And I've been very fortunate that I have a wide network of friends and business relationships. And when I basically tell them, saying, hey, find out how much credit cards you processed from 2004 to 2019, or just give it a thought, we can manage the filing, we can find out the full amount for you that we actually did process, and just kind of move the process along a lot quicker since we've gone through this and we know what we're doing.
And this is a time-sensitive thing, correct? Because the deadline is coming up.
Yeah, and that's the other problem. That's why I think hiring somebody or having somebody run the filing for you is such a great idea right now, because you only have until February 4th of 2025 to get your claim logged into the system. It doesn't have to be finalized, but you have to get that initial in by that time.
So it's is this like a difficult process or convoluted to file it? How long does it take for a business to file the claim or to get the information they need?
So the timing can be different depending on what the company is. I know that the class administrators are really working as fast as they can as a first in, first out basis. But you do have to go in and register, you have to pull up paperwork, you have to get some corroborating information. Depending if you agree or don't agree with what the class administrator says, that's where a lot of the back and forth comes into play. But again, this is a huge opportunity right now that people just have to be jumping on if they want to get a piece of it.
So, you know, once people, file their claims and, the deadline passes, what kind of return can people expect? And also, when can they expect this money to actually materialize?
Yeah, so first I want to put that huge asterisk right there that nobody knows for sure,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're going to see online ranges that go from $1,000 per million processed to $5,000 per million processed. I tend to like to err on the side of caution. I think it's going to be closer to that $1,000, maybe even under that $1,000 per million. But if you're a normal promo company, right? Let's call you the normal distributor. You're doing $3 to $4 million in business a year. You're probably processing $1.5 to $2 million via credit card of your clients. You're talking that your claim size over 15 years is close to 30 million, right? And that's just the simple multiplication. And then for the size of the actual payout, it's a convoluted calculation, but the easiest way to explain it in layman's terms is you're going to take your claim, which is going to be the numerator, over all the claims of everybody, that's going to be the denominator, and then you multiply that by the 5.54 billion, and that gives a rough idea. So that's kind of where I think the $1,000 is probably going to be accurate per million, just because to get 1,000 per million, that means that there's going to be $5.5 trillion worth of credit card transactions claimed in this. And I think that's a pretty high number. So anything less than that moves that $1,000 up, and anything higher than that brings the dollar down.
Right, because it is only a $5.5 billion settlement, but that has to go through all the merchants that were using this and filed the claims.
Yeah, that goes to everyone that didn't actively pull themselves out of the class early on. Yep.
Okay. So do you have any other caveats besides just not kind of banking on a certain amount of money? Are there other things that people should be aware of or watch out for?
So it's going to take some time, right? The claims close on February 4th. After that, the claim administrator still has to go through everything. They have to get final approval to distribute. I think that people can probably expect funds to be delivered in Q3 of 2025, maybe beyond, but I think that's probably around the right time for this. Again, this is money that we as distributors and suppliers, we've all paid to the credit card companies. And the court's basically saying, great, now you're entitled to get a little bit of it back, but you have to file by February 4th. And for a lot of people in this industry, they're out making sales calls. They're doing the business. They should be focusing on, selling promo. And if they don't have the time to do the filing themselves, using a company like mine, Professional SRS, which you can find us on the web at www.the-srs.com, or others out there, as long as they're reputable. Some people are trying to hide the ball and try to trick you to think that you're actually talking to the claim administrator. We don't do that, and most reputable agencies don't. We're going to let you know what the situation is with the claim, let you know how we can help. We give you some basic paperwork that gives you an authorization saying that we can file on your behalf, and away we go to the races.
Yeah, I imagine there are some kind of scammers out there that are trying to, use this as like a phishing opportunity. So you do have to be a little bit aware of who you're giving information to and make sure that it is a reputable organization. Totally. If you're not doing the claim, yourself.
Totally. Look, we're looking for your EIN number or your TIN number, which is your employer identification number or taxpayer identification number. It's the same thing. If you're a sole proprietorship, that's usually your social security number. If you're an LLC or a corporation, that's going to be a different number, usually starting with a 2-digit number. There are scammers out there like in any industry, right? There's going to be people saying, oh, we need to see your actual records. That's baloney, right? When I process the claims, I do not see your actual transactions. I can't say that, xpromo.com sold to Coca-Cola and sold X amount of dollars on this item. No way. All I'm going to see is, hey, here's the yearly breakdown and the monthly breakdown of how much Visa and MasterCard was charged. No more granularity than that. And that's frankly all I need to do to see to be able to help file these claims.
Okay. Was there anything else that you think is important to mention that we didn't go over about this settlement and filing your claim?
Yeah, so the one thing I want to say is that a lot of distributors and suppliers get a little bit confused as to who's eligible for this. And the simplest way I can say it is if you accepted a credit card for payment, whether as a supplier or as a distributor, you are part of this class. You have a right to file on this class. And whether you do it through an agency that's going to walk you through it, like ours, or if you're going to try doing it on your own, don't let it lapse. This is, I hate to use the term, but it's free money coming back to you. It's money you've already paid into these guys. You should get it back. So file by February 4th. Don't wait to the last minute. Call us, call somebody, get the help you need, but definitely just don't let it run you by.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I imagine that, even if it's much lower than you're expecting, getting something back is better than, than not and missing out on that deadline.
Sure, call it $100 per million, right? Going back to that example of that $30 million over 15 years ASI distributor, you're still talking about, what is that? That's $33,000. I mean, that's
I was gonna say,
real
don't
money.
make me do the math.
Yeah, right. I'm doing it on the fly here also. But that's real money. $3,000, that's you doing a little bit more advertising to your clients. That's you taking 10 more good clients out for a dinner and getting that winning business. And the numbers can be a lot higher. So, I mean, it could be that great vacation that your family wanted, or you could reinvest it in your business. But just don't let the February 4th of 2025 deadline pass you by. Call us. If I can, I'll give you my phone number, or...
All right, we can do that.
Okay. So we're 347-878-5728. We have a whole team ready to help, and there are other people, and you can do this on your own, just a little bit more work. Just don't let that February 4th deadline pass you by.
All right. Well, thank you so much for walking us through this settlement, and hopefully everyone will get their claims filed, before that deadline.
Perfect. Thank you.